Hi everyone, hope you all can hear me. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be amongst all of you. Just to make a quick announcement, it's not really a tech talk. It's a talk about the Web3 space. It's a talk about how we have been emerging over time. So don't expect anything tech on this talk. It's all about how we see the space. We run a Momentum 6 venture fund, which has been running on for the last 5 years. We are a $100 million fund. We have recently launched this accelerator, which is called Symbiote, but we run multiple other things, which includes Crypto Illuminati as our research venture, a fund called Momentum 6. We have a tech studio, and now the accelerator, which is Symbiote. So it's not just one product for now. It's basically a lot of things in the past. So coming to my time, so basically, I really want to kind of thank everyone to give me the privilege. Sorry? Okay, sorry. Yeah, I want to really take the privilege and thank everyone for giving me the time and opportunity to speak here. I know being one of the last, it's always difficult because many of them have already spoken before you and you may have already heard a lot of the things. But I think it also gives me an immense opportunity to really kind of wrap some of the things around and give you a perspective which is maybe a lot more intrusive, a lot more unified compared to what others have been able to give you. So just focus for 9 minutes. I think that's what my time is. But yeah, I think you guys will be able to take away something from this. Now, today I'm going to talk about Symbiote Vision 2023, which we believe is the year of confluence, experience, and efficiency. Now, even before we dive into these whole three facets of our view of Web3, I think we would just want to kind of give you a quick brief on how we see the industry having shaped up in the last many years. We have seen that the Web3 space have started back in 2009, where it was more of those developers trying to evangelize Bitcoin. 2013 to 2017 was more about economies being built around smart contracts. 2019 was all about scalability and its challenges, while 2021 was all about certain pockets of adoption that we saw in the fields of DeFi, NFT, GameFi, Metaverse, etc. However, each of those individual phases of growth gave us a lot of new opportunities as builders, a lot of new opportunities as backers and VC partners to be able to support the next generation of unicorns and decacorns. Now, at this point in time, we feel it's an amazing opportunity for all of us again, where we stand at crossroads, where the world is going through another set of transition, a transition towards confluence, efficiency, and experience. Let me start with the first one, which is confluence. So we believe now the world is going through 3 steps of confluence. Confluence of culture, communities, governance, and economies. Confluence of humans and machines, and confluence of real and virtual. Let's go to the first one first, which is confluence of communities, governance, and economies. Now, there's been an eternal debate on the Web3 space, whether crypto is going to be a multi-chain ecosystem or a single-chain ecosystem. And as we see that the world is evolving as a multipolar world, it's becoming more and more relatable that crypto is going to be a multi-chain ecosystem where each of these chains have to talk to each other. Now, if you really look at the real multipolar world these days, like we have different pockets of power being US, Russia, India, China, different pockets, and all of these are talking to each other through social linkages. Something similar is going to also happen in the space of Web3, where there would be different pockets of power through these different L2s, L1s, or whatever we call them, ZK or others, but they all have to communicate and talk to each other through these links. And that's where we see a massive amount of opportunity on the cross-chain side. We have already seen Axela, Dojima, one of our investment companies, Polkadot, Cosmos, one of my early investments. They're all building amazing things, but I think there's still a lot of opportunity to be explored in the space. There are a lot of builders building around. We are more than happy to entertain anyone who's building on the space and happy to support them with whatever they need. So that's on the confluence of culture. Moving to the next piece, which is basically confluence of humans and machines. Now, I think there was never a time as exciting as this, because I've always believed that the transition of a human to a humanoid is all about adding senses, memory, and cognition to a robotic frame of reference. Now, I think we are as close to that reality as it gets right now. And there's so much happening in the AI space. Now, when we know that the AI becomes omnipresent and omnipopular, there's going to be a lot of these different micro-communications and different computation that needs to happen between these processes and devices. Now, for that to happen, we would need a very strong and sustainable eco-framework or a very strong and sustainable infrastructure. And that's where we are extremely bullish on the infra space of AI. And we believe anyone who's building on GPUs or computational power, which kind of makes this whole ecosystem a lot robust and sustainable in the long run, we are extremely excited to kind of support them through our Symbiote program. Coming to the third piece, which is basically confluence of real and virtual. I think we don't even need to go too deep into this. Everyone knows that we are literally virtual human beings now. Without a virtual presence, I think the divide between real and virtual has literally thinned down to maybe an iota of inch. Now, in this kind of a paradigm, we really see that a lot of the Web 2 things are kind of migrating to Web 3. A lot of the Web 2 real world things are migrating to virtual. In fact, a lot of our Web 2 transactions, experiences are migrating to the Web 3 space, along with the virtual presence. So I think there's going to be a big need for this infrastructure stack, which allows this transition to happen from the Web 2 whatever we see in the real world asset classes or real world transactional space, all of that is going to migrate to the virtual space as well in some point in time. And that is where each of these infrastructure beds, which lets this happen, or which allows this to kind of work through seamlessly, is going to be a major area of importance, and we are looking at it very, very closely. So that's our third area for Confluence. Moving to the second strongest pillar, which is basically efficiency. We believe the world is expecting efficiency like never before. Like there was never a time when we were really looking for efficiency like we look at it for now in 2023. And there are three main pillars of efficiency that we look at. One, efficiency of resource allocation. We have heard some of these keywords in many of our previous talks that we have had over here, maybe deepens, efficient DeFi, DESO, and DAO. You guys may have heard of these. But I think these are the three major pillars of efficiency that we're looking at. One being efficiency of resource allocation, two being efficiency of liquidity and capital, and third being efficiency of social linkages. Now let's go with the first one, which is efficiency of resource allocation. We know that we are in a world where there's the concept of one market, one world right now. And in this kind of an ecosystem, it's super important that we are able to efficiently optimize our resources. If you really go to the Web 2 side of the world, you will be able to sense that a lot of our current resources are extremely centralized, capital intensive, and not really open or collective to the rest of the world. However, the only way we can scale this infra bed is through a structure which is collaborative and which has got a permissionless way of kind of scaling things. That's the only way we can penetrate the network. That's the only way we can build low-cost infrastructure around the globe. And we have a strong belief that Deepen, which is decentralized decentralized infrastructure networks, which is going to really make this transition possible. Now, that's another area that we are super bullish on, and we would love to invite any founder building on Deepen. We would love to have a talk with them, and see if there's any synergies that we can explore around. Now, the second piece of efficiency is on, I don't know why this is not moving. Yeah, it's on liquidity and capital. Now, I think this word is quite common to everyone. DeFi we all know of, but I think there's a little different perspective to DeFi, how we see DeFi at the moment, at the current stand. We've all known that many of us are skeptical about DeFi with a lot of TVL, a lot of liquidity having been drained out in the last couple of years. Many people are skeptical about the regulatory balances that kind of DeFi falls through. But if you really go deep into DeFi, and if you really think what value it has brought to the ecosystem, you can see the kind of speed and efficiency that DeFi has brought into the transactions, global trades. It's literally unprecedented. And this kind of a scenario is not possible if we are able to kind of make DeFi more popular. Now, I know that it's difficult to kind of make DeFi popular, and that's the reason we have a very optimistic yet watchful eye on the space, where we believe DeFi can only scale within regulatory framework. Like there has to be different governments that has to come in, and DeFi can only scale widely and massively only if it's built around a regulatory framework. Now, at Symbiote, we are super bullish on the three major spaces of DeFi. One being infra rails on DeFi, two being fiat rails on DeFi, and three being regulated DeFi. Anyone building any solution on these three fronts, super excited to talk to them, super excited to kind of listen to what they're doing, and possibly even help them out with some of our solutions and some of our connections that we have in the space. Now, coming to the last piece of efficiency, which is social linkages. I think it's a no-brainer that we are all social human beings now. And if someone is not on social, he's literally losing out on one of his identities. But if you really go deep into social, you will be able to see that social, while it was initially created with the ethos of creating a collaborative community, over time, social has become more of a marketplace where simply you are selling your products. So there's a massive transition that has happened, which has taken like the whole social game from its real intent to becoming a marketplace, which was never the original intent of social. Now, if you go deep into the concepts of DeFi, of Web3, you will be able to see that we have these three major pillars of Web3, which is permissionlessness, free governance, and collective efforts, which is what the core ethos of SocialFi is all about. And we believe if these core ethos are well played, there's a massive ecosystem that we can build Especially, there's a lot of work happening on the DESO and the DAO space, and we have a strong belief again that if we are able to create a right economic model for a DAO or a DESO, we will be able to create an ecosystem within the social space which is far, far, far more efficient than the existing social solutions that we currently have, which could be in the form of YouTube, Facebook, or others. So again, super bullish on the space, happy to help any founder who's building something on these lines, happy to explore any of the products, and possibly even fund them if needed, or pass them to the accelerator if that kind of works out for them at their stage. So coming to the last piece of the puzzle, I think I have only 2 minutes left, but I will try to wrap it up. Last piece of the puzzle is the spectrum of basically experience, right? Like we are all experiential beings. Like we want memories to be created. Especially after pandemic, we are all looking at memories. We are not looking at utilities. And the same is applicable for Web3 as well. Be it an experience of builders or an experience of consumers, both the sides are equally important. And we see there's a massive opportunity in this space as well. So starting with the builder space, we know that the Web2 and the Web3 builder space is now converging, where a lot of the Web2 developers are coming to Web3, and they are trying to explore what can be done in the space. But the only way we can keep them or retain them in the space is if we give them the right kind of tools and frameworks. If they don't get the support from us, they will not be staying back in the ecosystem. So we believe this is one major area where there's a lot of work that can be done around making SDKs which are more composable, creating no-code, low-code environments, creating APIs which are a lot more cross-communicating, and creating frameworks which they can easily work with and stay back in the environment. So I think that's a major area of our lookout, and we would love to talk to projects who are building anything on these lines. And finally, it's the experience of consumers. Like consumers are very demanding now, like especially after COVID, consumers have become extremely demanding. And if you expect them to stay back in the ecosystem with all the tools that we have right now, it's not so easy for people to understand what Web3 is or really work with a MetaMask. While for us, it could be super simple, but if we really look for a Web2 adoption, it's not really happening in the current scheme of things. So we really need to work on this area and need to make things a lot more user-friendly for our Web2 friends. So there's a lot of work that can be done around making Web3 a lot more data readable. So maybe creating visual maps around whole of blockchain, making things simpler. We have recently invested in a company called Bubble Maps. Amazing stuff that they're doing on the space. Second area is basically making your entire infra stack of basically notifications or anything that makes Web2 transition to Web3 easier, I think is another area that we can look for as one of the building spaces. And finally, all of those interactions, whether be it a gas list or whether be it an account abstraction that doesn't let you kind of go through all the Web3 hassles, could be another pillar that we really need to kind of look for when we are building for the space. So with this, I think these are the major 3 areas that we at Symbiote are looking at, and that's our vision 2023. Nothing tech in this, but it's more about the area that we are looking for. So we are super interested in confluence, experience and efficiency. Anyone building on these areas, happy to collaborate, happy to support, happy to kind of support them with the partner program that we have on Symbiote. Finally, one last minute. I think I would not be doing justice to my team if I don't talk about Symbiote at all, because it was all about what our vision is. But at Symbiote, we are basically building an experiential productized acceleration for our startups, which gives all the founders an everlasting experience for their life. The idea is to kind of create a holistic platform. Let me show you a glimpse of it. I don't know why it's not moving. Yeah, like a holistic platform which brings the best of Web2 and Web3 together, which gives you a journey-based approach to your entire acceleration, which has got all the data analytics and the kind of references that you need to track and trace projects and eventually maybe invest in them. And as a founder, it gives you an opportunity to have a journey to kind of constantly track your growth and possibly reach out to investors in different phases of time. So that's the platform, and with this, I would like to finally sum up the kind of mentors, partners, and funds that we are already working with. So we've already got Bitscale, Bitcraft, Signum, NGC, and pretty much you name it, we have them in the board right now, and that comes from the 7 years of crypto experience that we have in the past. We've got about 200 plus partners already working with us, and we have not yet started. And finally, we've got about 50 plus mentors. It's just counting every now and then, every day that we are kind of growing on the ecosystem. And I believe with all of this, we have a great play to support our startups in their lifetime's journey. And with that, I think my time is up. Super happy that you guys just listened to me being one of the last few speakers of the day. And I think that's it from me. Thank you.